Amber here. Super excited to have you today. We've got a powerful broadcast for you. We're going to be revealing some of the secrets, the quantum secrets of raising the financial thermostat and how important that is for business, how important that is for life also, and also some of the misconceptions with raising the thermostat. We did a post earlier today talking about how most people specifically focus on just raising the peak income level of the thermostat. And we're going to kind of break that down and why that's not going to work. Typically what that looks like is maybe they're taking the actions, maybe they're doing something that actively raises the thermostat and they start to skyrocket up. And you probably experienced this too. What happens is you go high income-wise, you get new clients, you bring on some new people, and you start to see more and more growth with your income, and then all of a sudden it all comes crashing down, and that's the thermostat actually balancing itself out.
Yep. It's exciting because, we've done a lot of work in our lives personally on this, and we didn't realize this baseline thermostat hack that we really want to share with you guys. So this is kind of like a level 2 class, short little class on financial thermostats, but something I'd really like to know as you join, let us know you're here. If you catch the replay, please let us know that you're catching the replay, and please take a second to let us know, are you familiar with financial thermostats in the first place? Some of you will say no, some will say yes, and you've actively been working to raise yours, and maybe the bottom keeps falling out, and maybe you're curious as to why. So if that's you, this video is definitely for you. And if you haven't played with it yet, we'll be sure to give you enough information about what that is in the first place before we kind of dive into step 2.
Yeah, so let's talk about a story that we heard recently with one of our mentors, and basically he explained kind of how the thermostats work. And what I realized through his explanation is that there is 2 parts to the thermostat. And what the thermostat does is it regulates, and there's a middle point that you pretty much stay at all the time. But there's a up, like a really high level thermostat, a peak, and a bottom, a really low level when things kind of hit the bottom falls out and you lose a lot of money. Maybe you have to pay, expenses come in for business or expenses come in for certain things, and you end up spending a lot of money, and then you hit the bottom level too. But typically what you do is you stay in between. So
Can I interject something?
Yeah.
Just for people who've never heard this concept. So here's the concept, guys. Say if you take a look back, maybe 6 months, a year, maybe even 5 years, maybe, you'll be shocked to see that you've always had, typically, unless you're really good with thermostats, you've kind of balance out. Okay. So what that might mean is, say you make a couple $100,000 a year for a couple of years, and then you shift gears. You start a new business, you close an old one. Maybe you go through a few months with no income, maybe like a scary phase, and then that business grows in the middle of the year. What you'll find looking back is that it's about the same amount of income as the year before doing something totally different. So that's kind of like the first grade explanation of the fact that we all have a financial thermostat that is going to keep us, like Christian said, in a median range. Some spikes, some drops, or maybe pretty steady. It just depends on the person. But what we're getting at today is that when you make those quantum leaps in income, typically you've effectively raised the peak financial thermostat. And what a lot of people forget is that baseline doesn't raise. So what can that look like is a more even steep roller coaster.
Right.
Because you're still going to fall all the way back to the bottom.
Right.
So we want to work on raising that baseline.
Yeah, so what the story was with our mentor is he was working as an engineer in his career, and then he's decided to open up a business.
That's right.
And he was making X amount of dollars as an engineer. A year passes by, and he looks at what he did with his business, and sure enough,
what he said was that when he did his taxes, he realized that he had paid himself pretty much to the dollar without meaning to what he made in his corporate job the year before.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So basically what this means is your base, your middle level, your thermostat will regulate at the top and at the bottom, but the middle level will stay pretty much the same.
It becomes an average. It averages itself out.
And what people tend to do, here's the misconception, is they try to raise the top, right? They do all these actions to get more income coming in, but then they forget about the bottom and it all comes crashing down at some point. And so what we need to consciously do is both raise the top and the bottom simultaneously. And what happens is your mid-range will go up way higher. So when you peak out, you're going to get a large amount of income coming in, but then you're going to lose a little bit too, and it'll balance out way above where it was before.
Right. So that eventually all of that, the baseline, the peak, and the median are all cruising up nice and comfortably within your own subconscious space, with the ability to allow you to keep making great things in all areas of life, instead of having that like sort of what's the term for that? What's that book where is it The Big Leap, where when you make like a massive, like a lot of people will have like crazy financial influx, and then like problems with relationships, or you get really healthy and then have problems making money. Yeah. Anyways, that all grows at a level that's not going to throw anything else off, which is really awesome too.
So here's the secret, right? Here's the quantum secret, is the power really is within the thermostat. Like if you consciously go out and try to get more clients, and you have new strategies and you have new ways of new advertising maybe, or whatever that is, it's going to go up. But then things come into place that will cause it to go down also. So if you look at basic laws of physics, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if you go plus, there's going to go a minus too. So you're going to keep this. And the goal is to stay right in the middle. So what we've done today is we're going to get into how that's actually possible with belief systems. So it does come down to belief systems, because we are the thing that will create that income. It's not necessarily the business. The business is the mechanism that brings it in. But we are the thing through our belief systems that allow and create the income energetically. It starts there, right? And then the business does the work, or the investment does the work, or whatever that may be. So we have to start here with us internally, understanding where we are at with our belief systems. Now, before we get into that, I want to bring this up. This is the type of things that happen when you do that, when you actually start and adjust those belief systems and work through those belief systems. Can manifest in many different forms. But here's a couple testimonials from some of the people that we've worked with, selling 6 high-ticket retreat sales effortlessly, like basically in her sleep. And she was really, really having a hard time doing that. This was another one, landing a $1.6 million deal after we've done some future belief work and setting some goals and aligning those belief systems. And then this one's another one. It had to do with business beliefs, from 2 to 13 signups just by shifting beliefs. So this is the type of work, this is the type of results that you'll get when you start to align the energy and make the progress internally from the inside first with your belief systems. Now, the opposite is true if you do not do that. Let's say you have some results, but your beliefs do not align with those results. Basically, what will happen is it'll go back down the other way. So it's important that we adjust and we raise our awareness with our own internal belief systems first, and we align those first, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you, here's a couple key points with thermostats. Many people think that thermostat is just the income coming in, and that's actually not true. Thermostats actually affect all kinds of different areas. So I want to show you here. This is actually from our private coaching, energy coaching program.
I thought that's the word you wanted.
But basically what we do is we align these beliefs, and this was actually one that we worked with a client with recently to adjust the beliefs to a $50,000 mark. Right? So these are what some of these look like. So having a wealth set point. Let me pull up the right screen here so I can navigate. Having a wealth set point. Also earning at least, managing at least, keeping at least, saving at least.
So managing, keeping, and saving are things that people forget to inquire with their subconscious about. They just are looking for like make more money.
Exactly. Exactly. So they're looking for ways to increase their income, but then they're forgetting about managing their income. They're forgetting about keeping their income. They're forgetting about earning at least this amount of money. So what we do is we adjust the top, the peak, and we adjust the bottom, and we do some testing around where the middle ground is and where the top and where the bottom is, and we adjust those simultaneously.
Beautiful.
Right? Powerful stuff, guys. Super powerful stuff. This will, let's say you've been trying to figure out like what is going on with my business, and I'll have an influx and it'll be like this roller coaster. Well, this is exactly why.
Yeah.
This is what's going on behind the scenes.
And then on one hand, it's good. You know what I mean? Like you're getting there if you're making more. We just need to make sure that we adjust that bottom as well. And of course, you could make the peak much more high than you could consciously choose. Right. So there's that too.
So here's a couple other ones to note. It's safe for me to have at least. It's safe for me to keep at least. It's what's some other ones? I know what it feels like.
The feminine side of things.
So that's actually the feminine energy. So you have basically the logical side, which is I know how. And you have the feminine side, which is I know what it feels like. So you're working with the right brain and the left brain simultaneously. So
awesome.
This is what we do with belief shifting. We make sure that those beliefs are aligned for that. And we actually have a scientific way, a proven way to test that. And when we shift the beliefs, you can test it again to make sure that it's shifted once and for all. And I think that there's a video that kind of describes how that works somewhere in this group if you're watching this.
Yeah, and if you're brand new here, guys, welcome. I hope that you find tons of things that shine light on things that have already been a pain point in your life or something that you've been thinking about, or that we can shine a light on the flip side of things, the deeper level. I'll definitely go and double check to find that video, because I know that if it's your first time here, this is a pretty deep dive, and we cover a lot about the subconscious mind and how it governs so much of your life without you knowing it. We have so much content that really goes into that on a more basic level and kind of describes more in depth the technology that Christian mentioned, the science-based technology that we use to test those things, clear them out, retest them so that you know they're changed for good.
Right. So let's go back to the whiteboard here, and I gotta make sure I can pull it up. Where is it at? Nope. 1 second. I had too many things open.
Oh, well, you're just like me.
Okay. Let's see here. Give me 1 second.
Gotta pull up a
it's back there.
Are you going to draw something or what?
Yeah, I wanna kind of demonstrate this.
It might be on the tab with Facebook.
No, I had it open on the side. It's okay.
It'll be worth
I guess I can get around to it later.
What were you gonna say on it?
I was just gonna kind of demonstrate what happens with this. Let's see.
Can you explain it?
Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom. There we go.
Nice.
Okay. So let's do just a little illustration. That way you guys can see exactly what happens with this. So let's say your financial set point is here, and then you have a bottom, and then you have a top, right? And this is
like the average.
This is mid.
Okay.
And this is low. And this is high, peak income. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have kind of this action here, and then this is where you level out at. Let's say your low, your bottom is, let's say 10K. And let's say your high is 100K. Like, you're going to get an influx of 100K worth of sales, or whatever that may be, whatever that may look like for you. And then your low, what you keep on reserve all the time, is 10K, and then your high is going to be 100K. Well, there's a number of things that happen to move this up the ladder, right? And there's a number of things that happen that also go on the flip side of this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them I want to call a lot of attention to is emotions, right? So this is really right here what's going to cause that downward spiral a lot of the time. So let's say, and also the upward spiral. Let's say you're on the entrepreneurial high.
Mm-hmm.
Those emotions kick in. You're really on fire. You're enrolling people left and right, yada yada, as a coach or a healer, whatever that may be, as a business owner. And then you get comfortable right here. You're like, okay, I hit my glass ceiling. You get comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. And then what happens is it starts to snowball down. Let me know if you guys have ever had that before. Like, this actually happened to us recently. We hit a peak. We went really high. Woo, man, it felt good. We're like on fire. We're thinking nothing can stop us.
Mm-hmm.
Then we kind of got comfortable and we're like, okay, let's chill out a little bit. And then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down. We're like, oh man.
And that's when we realize the importance of this lower part of the thermostat, guys. Truly.
So if your lower part is adjusted and the higher part is adjusted, the mid, where this is all going to be, obviously, like, we can control this consciously, the emotions and stuff. Oh, let's show that. We can control this consciously, but we have to put a lot of effort into doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to put so much effort into it if you consciously raise the low and the high at the same time, because you can just go through that emotional roller coaster, but your mid is going to keep going up and up and up and up and up.
That makes sense.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the quantum hack with that is, like, we're human beings. We're going to go through these cycles, but how we adjust the cycle as we're going through it is really the quantum secret to that. So let us know if you've had an aha. Let us know if there's some.
Laura's here, Matthew's
nice.
here. Hey guys.
If there's some wheels turning with that, and the way that we do that, going back over here, the way that we do that is by going through the belief systems and adjusting the belief systems, the bottom and the top belief system, with the income and with the wealth set point and with the ability to keep at least, ability to yada yada, kind of the things that we went over earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else you could think of?
No, I'm just, well, sort of. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm just literally picturing someone's life as they up level in this way. And I'm really picturing, you know, there's this comfort zone, there's a safety and security that entrepreneurs find that's so important. There's that predictability that's like, you know, something that sometimes takes a little time to get, and you finally find that. And then you begin to raise this upper thermostat and you make like a quantum leap. I mean, I guess I'm just reiterating, but my point being is that when you raise that and when you leap like that, the roller coaster gets taller, but the fall is still all the way down. And so I just really feel like this is such an important thing for people to understand. And because it's hard to go through, you know, it's almost easier to stay stuck at that other level because there's not as much fluctuation and there's not as much emotion, right? Where you could choose which one fuels the other and say that they kind of work together, the whole thing and the emotion. But I just feel like, you know, I want everyone to see the win that comes when you deal with this stuff, because as you raise that bottom level, as that roller coaster is not as steep, what's really happening over time is, you know, maybe a year from now, that lower level, that entire financial thermostat and the average of the two has really got you to a whole nother place, right? So don't forget, like, this is a process. It is about the journey, yes. But if you look at it and you're willing to do the work on this and you're set point now is pretty low with a little bit of a roller coaster, and you look at just raising it consistently in a comfortable way over, say, a year, I just want to finish with saying, like, what a vast change that can be. Totally. That's a change that can't be made in too many other ways that I've seen. And over time, over years, if you think about, you know, if you've got 20, 30 more years in business, and you think about that increase over 1 year, and then you compound that over the entirety of your business, I mean, think about how powerful that is.
So let's talk about this for a minute. Let's talk about the top performers, what these guys are doing. They're constantly, let's see.
You're trying to draw a box?
Yeah. They're constantly raising their well set point. They're constantly doing this, but they're not doing it the way most people would do it. They have a hack, and that hack is what? It sounds crazy, but all they do is they just push hard, right? Oh.
Whoa. Where'd it go? We got the point.
Yeah. They just they push hard, so they don't get affected by the emotions.
Right.
They don't get affected, and what happens is they don't take the time off. They're robots. They're like constantly going.
Hustle mindset.
That's a very hard thing to do. It takes a lot of discipline, and most people are not able to do that. Like, that's a certain level. That's a certain archetype of a person that can perform at that level too.
Yep.
And so the hack around that to keep performing at that level without having to like exert at that level and having the crazy amount of discipline, that's great. But most people can't do that. The quantum hack around that is to simultaneously raise the bottom and the top of the thermostat together, and to make sure that those beliefs are aligned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what happens to those people? They get burned out and they get overwhelmed.
Well, so most of them, at some point, I think they do. But there's some really, really powerful people out there that are just machines. Sam Ovens, obviously, like that dude is just incredible.
Right.
Most people can't like the guy has one app on his phone. You know what I mean? Like
laser focus.
And he cuts everything out and he performs at the top level. Most people can't do that.
Right.
It's very, very difficult. And he tries to teach how to do that, but it's like that's really designed for a specific type of person. There are other ways to do it, in other words, and I think we nailed it. So
yeah, and by the way, if you're brand new here, once again, we're really happy to meet you. If this is your first time catching us live, I want to let you know a lot of people jump in here because they hear about our meditation that cures burnout and overwhelm, and so I'm going to be Christian's putting some really cool extra new touches on that. So anyone that had it in the past, keep your eyes out for when the new link gets posted, because it's going to be even cooler than it was before. But I'm letting you know, if you're new here, to go ahead up to the top and click the larger image. We call that a banner. And in the description there, you'll find the link to get that meditation, because I know that's a reason why a lot of people join us.
Yeah.
So if it's your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Thanks for spending some time with us today. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. If you're wanting more one-on-one type support, always feel free to reach out to one of us privately. Anything else?
Yeah, so I want to touch on this. So if you feel like you are having that ceiling moment, and hitting those ceilings with your business, we can definitely help you get through that. So the way that you can do that is we'd like to kind of understand where you're at with your business and see if we can actually help you. And if we can, what we do is we show you how that can move forward. We don't work with everyone, but we do work with those that are ready to really accelerate this process. So the way that you do that is book
perfect.
Call. And we'll put a link in the comments so you can book a call with us. It'll be about 30, maybe 45 minutes. Really dive deep onto your process, where your business is at, and see if we can move it to the next level.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.